Fanikaide under fire for accusing Governor Otti of refusing to recognize Tinubu as president. Ferdinand Ekelma, spokesman of the governor of Abia State, has slammed former Nigerian Minister of Aviation, FFK, over his recent outburst against Governor Alex Otti. On Wednesday, Kaide took a swipe at the state governor and accused him of refusing to hang the official portrait of the new president of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, in his office because he did not recognize the ex-governor as the president. However, Mr. Kelma, while reacting in a statement issued in Umuahia, the state capital, described FFK's claim as malicious and unfounded, as the government is not surprised at the cheap pettiness and lack of decorum displayed by the former minister. You see, I think it's a very good thing when you have people in the same political space say the exact same thing, because when Nigerians will say, this man is so petty, he's so this, he just lacks self-respect, just talks anyhow. Because Fani Kayode is also one of, the politicians that are in the past few years have just degraded themselves and their value, because it gets to a point that you've disrespected yourself so much that even if you say the sky is blue, or water is tasteless, or if you say anything that's even factual, no one even takes you seriously or takes you with respect, because your image and your reputation precedes whatever you even speak with your mouth. Cheap pettiness and lack of decorum is such a perfect description and could not have said or been said in a better way. Technically, Tinubu was inaugurated by INEC, but INEC did not collate all the results. So technically, Tinubu is not president, by factual terms, but INEC had to declare a winner. And they declared Tinubu was the winner. And you have, the opposition in court right now, fighting it. But it's crazy while we're fighting results when the person you're fighting against has been inaugurated. The person you're fighting against has passed different laws and bills and has gone on international trips as the president of the country. So it's kind of backwards. Unlike Fani Kayode, who has manifested his known trademark of pettiness and lack of decorum when he roundly repeated, abused and blackmailed President Tinubu in the past, Governor Alex Otti, in line with his upbringing, orientation, character and exposure, does not act irrationally and thus could not have, under any circumstances, refused to recognize President Tinubu as the president of Nigeria, especially when he and the president enjoy a long-standing relationship that transcends politics. I think it's also a way exactly for FFK to try, bring up, some sort of beef within them. And I just think, what's the point? Why do we even care? Okay, and FFK accuses the governor of refusing to recognize him as president. You see how these people fight themselves? And then as Nigerians, why do we have to then involve ourselves and then say, oh, wow, and then pick sides? Are you on Governor Otti's side? Why would FFK do the same thing? Why would he call out a governor for refusing to recognize Tinubu? And I'm like, mate, we have so many pressing issues, and it's basically, sycophants fighting for their master and who they believe is meant to, come on now. It's very thing. And then you have people then having the interpretation saying this governor trying to be rebellious, because in the comment section that's what people are saying. And it's really, of all topics that Nigerians could be passionate about, it's about someone not recognizing one as president. Of course, we now have to take into context and why that is so. A lot of people don't recognize Tinubu as president, but when has Nigeria ever been proud and say we recognize someone as a president? With the amount of corruption that is literally at this point the air that we breathe. So it's who's ever, even in any elections in the perfect country, who would ever be happy, or where would it ever be fair that someone did not win and someone won over this person and this person was this and this person was that? It doesn't make sense. Mr. Fani Kayode, I always see you as my mentor, and it's associated from you the day you left PDP, and I knew something was wrong with you. That's the thing. Why would you see FFK as your mentor? I'm literally so confused. I think, okay, fair enough. Actually, not fair enough. FFK has been in APC and PDP about 22 times in the last 5 years. So it's what are you talking about? If anyone in Nigerian politics is your mentor, you really need to do a whole check. And that's what I personally don't like. When you look at people like, Wike, you look at different governors and you just see the amount of respect accorded to them. And I'm like, in, your right, logical thinking, examining mind, you look to someone who is, first of all, not just themselves, but represented by their political party. I think Nigerians try to dissociate the person from their party. And I'm like, okay, you can like this person, great, but the party that they're representing or the party that represents them is also not in, also not in the best light in terms of reputation. So why would you take someone like that to be your mentor of all people? And that's how you see Nigerians really love to, or maybe as a thing, we just like to be fans and we just like to, give so much attention to somebody just because they're in a space. Maybe you want to be in that space because, sorry, if you were in government, you'd want to be like FFK. And that is highly problematic because as former aviation minister, what did he do as the aviation minister? So it really doesn't make sense. The election was the worst ever held in Nigeria. Tinubu is not the president. Well, you can argue all you want, but he's been inaugurated, except, in the courts that's already compromised, they declare and INEC comes clean. Even the EU. Listen, if the EU gave the whole analysis and said, the lack of trust and transparency in INEC made the elections not credible, then who do you expect to hold these people accountable? Because Nigeria lost to look at international communities to say, speak on this, speak on that. They've been speaking. Other countries have been speaking, and yet nothing happens. The UN, all these bodies. See, if your leaders want to do right, they will do right. You don't have to tell them because they know. Put what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.